On wimpled wing I have flown into the heavens and glimpsed the wisdom of my being.
We're living in a profound moment in human history, one full of challenge and also opportunity. It could be said that the great heart of the world is cracking open before us, shifting everything with it, leading and guiding us into a whole new way of living and being in the world that honors the oneness of all things and returns the sacred to the center of life. When the feminine impulse is coming into balance with the masculine and bringing with it a radical wisdom of the heart, it has the potential to bring much healing and wholeness. We believe that individual transformation leads to global transformation. At Sophia Institute, we're bringing in leading-edge thinkers, the wisest, keenest people of our time, who help us cultivate this emergent consciousness. We believe that together we're ushering in a whole new age, an age we could call the age of wisdom.
Here, we are trying to reimagine the human experience, and to do that in ways that value both the masculine and the feminine in this beautiful balance and integration.
Is that more and more of this feminine way of knowing, with its emphasis on process rather than on product, on making things cohere and develop and grow. This is becoming a kind of fertile field for these new possibilities, for this design for living for this planet at this time in human history.
There's a Native American saying that where there is no vision, the people perish. And now is a time in world history when we really need vision that comes out of wisdom and deep heartfulness. Places like the Sophia Institute are so important because that's where vision and wisdom get nurtured. There's another Native American prophecy that says, when the hearts of the women are on the ground, then the people will perish, no matter how strong the men or how powerful the weapons.
That we connect more deeply with the imaginal self that is within each of us, that holds the possibility that we are, and that we can begin to see together, to envision together, and to encourage to come forth the fully human being, the fully divine human being that each of us actually is.
What Buddha discovered is that beyond your duty to class, to family, to nation, to whatever it may be, each person, human person, has a special use for their own life, which is to evolve their potential of understanding the world, their wisdom, their Sophia, and also, therefore, their happiness. Because the more they know of reality, the more blissful they will feel. They'll feel the bliss coming out of the subatomic energies of the universe. And they'll be really happy, which will make them really useful to other people. Because then they'll have the skill and the energy to really make other people happy because they're happy themselves. You can't.
And it's like the tide coming in. One ripple doesn't make a tide, but many individual ripples consist of the tide coming in, and that age of wisdom seems to be many, many ripples around the world joining to create this tide of the wisdom that's needed now.
At this time in history, there's such an incredible opportunity to hold paradox and to wait for the third option to emerge that's beyond polarity and opposition. And paradox is an invitation for creative solutions and elegant solutions that serve the greater whole.
Women are disproportionately impacted by almost all the crises in the world, from environmental crisis to wars and poverty. And we cannot talk about the building of a sustainable peace and a sustainable democracies and sustainable economies without the full inclusion of women in the process of discussion, in the process of solutions, in the process of building a sustainable and lasting peace in the world. The Sophia Center provides a space where women and men hear the voices of the feminine, of what Mother Earth needs us to do and we should do to protect the future of our children and of our future generations. It's a space that provides a safe haven for women to gather, to share, and to learn.
This knowing your divine spark, it's not just about navel gazing. It's not just a practice for those who have resources or the time or the money or any of that. I really believe this is our natural birthright. And I actually believe that knowing oneself, knowing your divine spark, is actually the most socially responsible thing we can do these days. For me, when I'm in touch with my inner voice, I make much clearer and conscious decisions across the board, from politics to the environment, to my health, to my relationships, to my career.
There are some places where the conversation goes just a little bit deeper, a place where the kind of study into metaphysical and spiritual wisdom teachings that we are all so involved with actually create a field that has this kind of exponential effect. I feel that here at the Sophia Institute.
The Sophia Institute played a very large part in my decision to move to Charleston, and once I was here, it very quickly became my home away from home. I've had the opportunity to hear many wonderful speakers from all over the world and have really been touched by the amazing ideas that they...
I mean, if it weren't for Sophia Institute, I know that I would not have made the profound changes that I have made in my life, because they would have just been thoughts, ideas, random should-haves. And because of Sophia Institute, I have made those changes. And it's not fun and it isn't easy, but I'm not alone anymore.
I've learned that that's what the Sophia Institute is really wonderful at, getting you to just become more aware. Very small change that can really, really open you up and put your life on a whole new course simply by just deciding to be a bit more open to the world around you.
I'm grateful for the commitment that the Sophia Institute has for creating a container that we can all come into and sort of be refueled. There's a wholeheartedness here and an authenticity that seems to cure my exhaustion of just being out in the everyday world. So.
This weekend has given me an opportunity to look at my own life, my own story, and raise some questions that are important for me. Some questions I wouldn't ordinarily raise. Questions that are deeply human, questions that enable me to focus in new ways.
Coming here for this weekend has really given me so many tools to think about where I am going and what I'm going to do and what I'm going to contribute. And the tools are the questions. And I think that really exemplifies the work of the Sophia Institute, to ask myself and for all of us to ask ourselves the questions that will take us to the fullest manifestation of who we are.
We are the people that have the privilege, the responsibility, and moreover the opportunity to create a sustainable future for all children of all species for all time. This is the great work of our time. And the Sophia Institute is an educational, transformational, inspirational, spiritual place where
Sophia is a focal point for a powerful form of conversation, a transformative conversation that gets beneath the surface of things, away from the periphery and down to the hub of life, a hub that holds the wheel of everything together.
I am convinced that the genius of soul resides at the Sophia Institute. There is a mystery of hope here. There is a moment to be seized, and it is a necessary moment. And I hope we're all able to step up and seize that moment together.
Institutes like Sophia Institute can serve as bridges between the old form and the new to help usher in a whole new way of living and being in the world. Together we can create a much more conscious world, one that expresses the vastness of the human spirit. At Sophia Institute, we're envisioning a world we could call a wisdom society, a 21st century we could call Sophia century, where oneness and wisdom, peace, sustainability, and the sacred are at the center of life.